Well, the big three auto executives came and made their plea for your taxpayer dollars, and now congressional staffers are working through the weekend on what could be an agreement to free up some $15 billion. But not all members are convinced that's what we should do. Joining me now to discuss the auto bailout, Congressman Dan Lungren from California and Congressman Thaddeus McCotter from the state of Michigan. Congressman McCotter, let me start with you if I could, please. I mean, you're from Michigan. The big three are sort of based there. I would imagine that you have a very different view than maybe perhaps the congressman from California.
Well, I think that's why you're having us on the show at the same time.
Well, tell me, are you okay with this talk that's come out in the last hour or two that the White House and Congress are coming up with some short-term agreement?
Yes, and I think what's critical is the reality that this is not a new appropriation. What happened earlier in this session of Congress was $100 billion of unfunded CAFE mandates were put on the crippled and restructuring auto industry. Congress then appropriated $25 billion to help defray the cost of meeting that government mandate. The access to that fund was very difficult. What the new legislation will do is take that existing appropriation, allow the big three to access it now for their liquidity concerns.
Sounds like to me the Bush administration is saying, well, we're not really sure that we should be giving a lot of money to the auto industry. Here's some money that's already in an account that could be used for that, and that's a bridge to the next administration. Let them deal with it. Is that what's going on here, Congressman Lungren?
Yeah, I think that's what's going on, and my concern is this. Inevitably, we're going to have to go through bankruptcy. And some 20 years ago when I was in Congress the first time around, we helped restructure the bankruptcy laws precisely so that we could have Chapter 11 work in situations such as this, where you have a restructuring. There seems to be this fear that bankruptcy means death and destruction. It doesn't. What it means is a kind of restructuring. Yes, it's forced restructuring that will then allow you to come out with a rejuvenated entity. And the problem here that I'm concerned about is by trying to navigate around that, what we're trying to say is the principles that are inherent in a Chapter 3 restructuring aren't going to be placed here, and that means you're not going to have the primary concern of allowing these entities to exist.
Right.
That's what that's what Chapter 11 is all about.
Congressman McCotter, I haven't looked at my email account, but I guarantee you when I go there's going to be a lot of emails from our viewers who say, no, don't give them another penny. What do you say to those people?
Again, this is money that's already been appropriated for the purposes of complying with CAFE mandates that were put on them by the government. So this is no new money that is going to the auto industry. This is specifically targeted towards the purpose of compliance. It was a poorly written law, and so now what they're doing is allowing them to access it for liquidity purposes. Now, the reason that they're illiquid right now and having trouble is because of the failure of the Wall Street bailout to unfreeze the credit markets. The restructuring process that Dan's talking about that could have brought them to bankruptcy if left alone was not allowed to happen because of the failure of their ability to roll over their short-term commercial paper and finance cars due to what other people had problems other people had caused.
I have to leave it right there because we're going to commercial break. But gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us here to talk about that. It is the topic of the week. First Lady Laura Bush